Well, hey, Avery Point priority list members and reservists. It's Jim Antonakos, and I am here with Maria Reyes. Maria is a friend and colleague. We have known each other for about 6 years now, right? And we had the opportunity and the privilege to work together at Oakcrest outside of Baltimore, Maryland, our second oldest community. And Maria, for the past 2.5 years, has been down here at Windsor Run, one of our newest communities. And so she's seen the best of both worlds. We're going to ask Maria some questions today about resident services. Maria is the resident services manager at Windsor Run. So Maria, thank you for joining us. Would you tell our folks a little bit about your background with Erickson and just kind of how you came to be here?
I'd be happy to, very happy to. I'm a clinical social worker by training and was first hired to support a team of social workers at Oakcrest in Maryland. And I just brought the medical and social experience to that position to help all of the social workers support the residents at the time. And then they changed their model a little bit, and eventually I learned about this position opening up, and the associate executive director here I had already worked with called me up and said, would I consider it? And I said, absolutely. I wasn't planning on it, but so we met and we talked about what this position would mean and what I might be able to contribute to the residents and staff here. And lo and behold, I landed here in Charlotte. So
That's awesome. And how do you like it so far?
I love it. I'm originally from Chicago. I don't miss winters. I'm liking the hot weather. So, and then it's a real good mix of people. There's a lot of culture here and a lot of arts and business, and it's just an exciting city.
And you spent a number of years living in the Fan in Richmond, right?
I did. I love Richmond. I'd go back in a heartbeat, I think. Richmond, in the Fan I lived, in the near West End, and then even in the far West End near Short Pump.
Excellent, excellent. So you know exactly where we are.
I do.
The great location. So Marie, tell us a little bit about resident services and what your department does, if you would.
Wow, okay. We focus on a lot. We really focus on trying to have residents have the most holistic quality of life they can have here. So we approach that from different angles. Physical well-being, spiritual, psychosocial, intellectual, everything you can think of. And so that takes a team of people to do that, and several departments, and those are the ones that I support. They include fitness and well-being. That would include our aquatic center, spa, personal training, group classes, health lectures, and then it also includes our resident services department, which is about connecting residents and family members with the right resources that really maximize their ability to live in their apartment as long as possible with the least restrictive environment. And then would be our activities or community resources department, and that's really about pulling out of our residents their strengths and skills and joys, and helping them to create a culture here, a life, activities, groups that they can run, and then also bring in special events for them. We do that as well. And then also there's broadcasting, TV. You know, we need to bring them some fun shows, but also communicate with them about very important things they need to know. And then of course there's our app, our very own app for our residents, My Erickson app. So that's a place that they can go on their mobile device and really check out dining and activities and what's going on. And then lastly, which I probably should have started with this first, is new resident orientation and welcoming residents into the community. So we start welcoming you long before, years before, and then we intensify it months before you move in. And there's a whole sort of process and lovely set of activities that happen around that. You know, the more fun ones, I think, for me and my department and my team are really just making sure you know your way around the community, you know where your parking spot is, you're happy with your apartment, you're adjusting here, you're meeting new people, and we're orienting you to the community. So I think that's all of what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there's a lot there to unpack. Let's start with community resources and touch on that. You mentioned the groups and clubs. Can you give us an example of some of the vibrant groups and clubs that a lot of people are involved in here?
Oh yeah, plenty. Well, it ranges from clubs and classes too that are happening. So we have a lot of different game clubs, puzzle, billiards, things like that. We have artist groups. We had a man who knew how to build kaleidoscopes, so he ended up having a kaleidoscope club. We have a woodchucks, that's our woodworkers club. And we have a resident moving in. I'm excited about this one. She's into genealogy, so we're talking about her starting a genealogy club. So plenty to do here for people, for
That's
sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know we have some woodworkers and some folks who are into genealogy. And you mentioned some special events, some of the things that you do around campus. And we caught you a little bit earlier in the lobby talking about holiday decorations. And what are some of the other events that we do throughout the year?
Yeah, well, we have to plan this far ahead for holiday decorating, that's for sure. And as we get closer to the holidays, we will host a rabbi for the Jewish holidays. We will have some clergy coming in, Kwanzaa celebration, so things like that. But recently we had a terrific local jazz duo. The singer and the pianist entertained our residents around the 4th of July, and she's been in a lot of films and she's got a great following. And then even something like a nearby children's school where the kids are writing books about some of our residents, almost like a biography. So they, with social distancing, of course, they come in and get to know some of the residents and create a book. They write it, they illustrate it, all that sort of thing. So those some examples.
That's awesome. That's really incredible. Let's shift to fitness for a second. We know we've had a lot of people asking just about the kind of equipment that we use and the kind of classes that we'll have. What would you tell somebody who's never been to an Erickson community before? What is fitness like in our communities?
Well, it's not just a place you go, it's sort of woven within all the areas of our community. So it obviously we have a gym that's well set up with machines that I think people find familiar, but also we're upgrading some things, like with a bike that's similar to the Peloton bike. And then our pool is really huge, and we do aqua aerobics classes in there. What I think is exciting is that our fitness coordinator was recently certified as a medical exercise specialist. So he can help somebody who might be living with Parkinson's disease, or might have just recovered from some sort of a medical event, and make sure that they exercise safely. He brings that specialty to it. And then in addition to all of that, we put on regular health lectures that might touch on nutrition or even mind, body, spirit, well-being. So, yeah.
That's great. We also talked about new residents moving in. And so, again, you've seen this from both sides. You've seen residents moving into a 25-year-old community, and you've seen residents moving into a 3-year-old community. What would you say is kind of the experience for somebody coming into a community like Windsor Run, maybe in a new building, those sorts of things? What does that look like?
Well, what happens is we have some ways of doing that where we've got a group of people that we know are going to be neighbors already, getting to know each other right away. So there's some comfort in not being just the only new person in the group, right? And so we capitalize on that and leverage that. Also, it's great because we can hear from the beginning while we're starting programs or while we're building the building practically about things that matter to people. And we can even maybe intervene or pivot and sort of adjust things to what those residents are wanting. As opposed to a more mature community, there might be processes or things in place that are maybe not as easy to change or adjust.
Yeah,
So,
so definitely a benefit to moving into a brand new community.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, I mean, we started right off with a resident-run tech support group, which means we've got a really robust group of residents that are tech savvy. We're seeing more tech savvy people and people interested in learning. And these residents will help other residents sort of get signed up, get online, navigate their computer, their mobile device, so that they can be as savvy as possible.
And that reminds me of the iPad users group at Oakcrest.
Oh yeah.
That grew from a classroom to, was it in the large conference room, and then it had to be 2 days out of the month instead of one. They couldn't fit everybody in there.
Right.
So many people learning.
Yeah.
So Maria, you also talked about resident services and having those connections to resources to keep people independent as long as possible.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about some of those resources? What are the kinds of things that we do that might be an interim step before somebody goes to assisted living or memory care or nursing care? If they want to stay in their independent living apartment, what kind of resources do we have for them?
Yeah, well, our medical center is really great because we have 2 doctors that specialize in geriatrics. So we already know that we have access to medical experts that can advise us, that can help write orders for people so that somebody from a home health or physical therapy type agency can come into one's apartment and do a safety assessment or look at equipment that can help them stay in their apartment as long as possible. Whether they're advising about their surroundings, whether they're actually doing therapy in the apartment. So those are some resources, the medical center, the outside agencies. Also just, you might have a couple where one of the couple is dependent on the other and it's been working well in their home and they come here and they want to replicate that. They might benefit from just getting private duty assistance in caregiving so that one of the couple can, go and have their fun activities that they want to do and get a break from being a caregiver and then come back to being that role more energized, you know, so.
Yeah, that's great. So we'll have some of those home support services, partnerships at Avery Point, and we'll be ready. What surprised you when you transitioned from a mature community to a developing community?
Wow, well, a lot of the staff, it gets to know the people from the very beginning, so the relationships, I think, are pretty dynamic, and we all get to start off kind of from the same place. The staff are new, the building's new, the residents are new, so we can kind of sort of lean on each other for that and feel supported. What else surprised me? Let's see. I guess how many people were coming from lots of different places. I don't know how it is going to be in Richmond, but I know in Maryland, we had a lot from Maryland. So we have a really nice mix of people from around the country.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of people, and a lot of people with Avery Point are moving from Richmond, but they moved to Richmond from other places to be near their kids, near their grandkids, excellent healthcare in Richmond,
right.
Great culture, so just really, again, a kind of a retirement destination. So if there were anything that you were going to share with people who maybe haven't been to an Erickson Senior Living community before, they're kind of taking our word for it, right? This is going to be a great place to live. What would you tell them about our communities and what they can expect to find at Avery Point?
Well, I think you can expect to find a city within a city or a town within a town, probably a little bit of each, a little bit of small town feel and city feel, a community that's trying to anticipate your needs and make sure that you live your best life at this chapter, but also one that might, that really wants your feedback about it and wants your help in building a culture there, because it's yours to build. That's going to be your town, your city, and that's the exciting part for me.
Yeah, and for me too. Maria, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Avery Point, we will be coming to you with more interviews and more great folks who have experience with our communities and with our company and are helping us show you what life at Avery Point is going to be.